ready.
All right. So, everyone, it's a pleasure to have Abraham Gray here. Abraham, I've known Abraham for a little while now. I think a few months. I'm not sure exactly how long it's been, but it was New Jersey we met. And I actually really connected with you because of the fact that you hire dead people. And I was like, hey, you might have a guy, I like the way that he thinks. Abraham, he's an entrepreneur. He's also an investor in the Atlanta area. I love your mindset. So I just wanted to interview you and talk to you and see how you think and how you process what you do. So my first question for you first is like, for me is, I would say you broke the code at an early age. You was a teenager when you started. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when I was younger, I grew up, before I started my first business or before I started making money, I grew up in a broken family household and ended up leaving both my parents, going from like foster family to boarding school, back to foster families. And I just didn't have my freedom. I couldn't do what I wanted because I didn't have my own money. I didn't have my own, power. So I ended up eventually, when I was like right before I was 16, like 15 and a half, moved to my grandmother's. And I started a business based on what I collected when I was younger, sports cards, and started making money. And once I started having money, I realized I was able to do more stuff. Didn't have to listen to people as much. And I just loved it. And I got like just addicted to doing better and better so I could kind of do my own thing without people bothering me.
Recently, I mean, I'm not sure how recent that was, but you made a big deal, which was like $150 million deal, correct?
Well, I made like 100 million in one of my businesses back 2007 and 2014.
So when would you say you got your first business? How old were you when you first got your first business?
I mean, 15 is when I started making money doing my first business. My first like location, I was probably, right out of high school. So maybe like around 18, 19.
Okay.
Right, opened my first location. It was kind of small. And then, from there in my early 20s, I had some bigger locations, had bigger businesses and just grew.
And I know for you, it's been like one business after another, and you've acquired.
Yeah, I've had hundreds of businesses for sure.
So in your journey, what would you say has been the biggest challenge for you?
I would say just not knowing what I didn't know at the time, figuring out the best ways to learn, the best ways to grow. So in the beginning, I didn't have much help. Like I didn't have people that I looked up to that really helped me. So that was my biggest challenge. But then once I saw that there are people that will teach you all this stuff, that sped things up for me. And then, I got attached to a few people that were like 20 years older than me that were kind of at a stage that I wanted to get to. And I provided them value. I helped them do stuff. They helped me. And that's how I was able to grow a lot faster.
If you're looking at your journey, would you say there was like failures along the way?
And tons of failures. Yeah. I always say like, for every 2 or 3 things I did really well with, I failed at like 7 or 8, So the key is when you fail, you got to fail very smallly. Like you can't lose a significant amount, or you can't lose something, significant. But when you win, you've got to take it all. You know what I mean? It's like poker. Like you could have the best hand 2 out of 10 times, but take everybody's money. You got to know how to maximize those 2 hands to win as much as possible. And the times that you have those 8 bad hands, you got to know to not lose that much.
Explain your risk-taking process, because like I said to you earlier, I've interviewed entrepreneurs and I've interviewed investors, and I know this like, for example, I was talking to an investor earlier today. We basically, what we came down to was that as an investor, you take calculated risk. As an entrepreneur, you take calculated risk. And as an investor, most investors get a thrill and a drive from taking that risk and making sure that they win. What would you say it is for you?
I mean, I definitely take a bunch of calculated risk, but luckily I have good common sense and good instincts, so my common sense and instincts are really good. So I don't run into too many bad issues that are way worse than they should happen. Of course, that happens sometimes, but it's really just using good judgment and being able to do research. If you could research and have good judgment, then you shouldn't do anything that's crazy, gonna hurt you really bad.
What would be an advice that you would give someone right now, like that's starting off? Because there's people listening to this and they want to know, how did you go from 15 to where you are now? And climbing that success ladder of entrepreneurial success ladder.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of the same thing you hear from everybody. I mean, you've got to be around the right people, positive people, successful people, because then that's what makes you like. When I was younger, I was around a bunch of losers and a bunch of people that were in trouble all the time. And when I was younger, I got in trouble all the time because that's the people I was around. But once I started hanging around the better people and the more successful people, I became more successful. But I would say get with people that are kind of where you want to get to and learn from them, and then hopefully eventually you pass them. But you got to catch up to them first. So the easiest way to get to where they're at is to have them show you how they got there and work with them, help them make money. Eventually, that will help you make money. And join every single group, whether it's a real estate group if you're in real estate, business group if you're in business. Partner with people that are successful, that are someone that you look up to, and help them in any single way, even if they make most of the money. And eventually, you're going to learn a lot and be able to do the same thing on your own and make all the money. So, literally, I've helped so many people that were better than me, and that made them realize I'm a good person. They like me. I built that rapport, and then ultimately they helped me build my own businesses because I learned a lot from them. And most of those people I've way surpassed by now. You have to get to where they're at and then surpass them. So it's really by being really, really a good person, building rapport, helping people, and then eventually it comes back tenfold.
You've given us a lot, building rapport, being a good person, and connecting with these people, adding value. Which one would you say is your key that you would say, this is the key that I would start off with if I was?
Rapport. I mean, rapport is the most important thing. Like every single thing I do in life is that gets me successful or gets me further in life is because people like me. If people didn't like me, I wouldn't be able to do anything because nobody's going to want to do anything with me, whether it's let me cut in front of line, whether it's get me out of trouble, whether it's make me more money, it doesn't matter what it is. If someone likes you, they're going to give you some slack, right? If they don't like you, then you have no shot. So you just got to be a good person, get people to like you, get people to like you.
Okay. This has been burning for me because I know we was it last week or the week before that, that we spent together, and I was present, but I will say I wasn't 100% present because of the day. You didn't know this, but on the day that we arrived, I had a friend that was living in Atlanta. A month before that, I said, hey, I'm going to be coming to Atlanta. I'd like to hang out with you. I'm coming in a couple of days early. And he said, sure. Then 2 days before that, I got on the phone with him. We talked. He told me some challenges he was going through. And I was like, well, I'll see you in 2 days. Just hold on. I'll be there in 2 days. I landed on the 27th, which is my daughter's birthday. And when I landed, I called him. He didn't pick up. So I'm like, it's normal. People call me. I barely pick up. So I sent him a text and he didn't answer. And 2 days later, his girlfriend, significant other, texted me and said he committed suicide. So while I was there, I was dealing with all this because I'm like, this is a guy who's so positive about, all about life. And it came to that point where I'm like, I was there, but I just wasn't present because I was thinking, how could someone do this? And then, long story short, and talking to her and thinking, yes, there might have been some mental challenges there, but there was one of the things where, like I said, you broke the code at 15. He was trying to break the code for a while and never got to break that code.
He probably wasn't around the right people.
And I wanted to introduce him to you because he's such a positive person. But then,
damn, if you would have came a couple days early, this whole thing could have been different.
Yes, it did. It definitely could have been different, and I've been pondering that the whole time. And I had a conversation with this girl. I just went to the wake not too long ago. But my thing was that it came down to it. He owed a significant amount of money and he exited that way. And I'm like, if you were going to give a message to someone right now that was trying to break that code, what would it be for you?
I mean, look, no matter how big of a hole you're in, there's a way out. Like 100%, there's a way out. You just got to, you might not be thinking straight, if you're in that bad situation, but get with someone that you respect, that has good common sense, that's a good person. They could give you a lot of good advice. If somebody was in that situation and came to me, I'd be able to figure out a way to get them out of it, depending on how bad it was and how easy it is to get out of it. But it might be a long process. But yeah, there's a way out of everything. I mean, no matter how bad it's something that happened, it's hard. It's hard to be positive or to stay focused and level when something really bad's happening. But you have to. And if you can't by yourself, then get around people that will help you, put you in that mindset.
Definitely. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but at 15, you said you had some pain that took you from hey, I got to make this money. Would you say it was pain that was driving you? What do you think is your driving force?
Yeah, in the beginning, it was pain. It was I wanted to be free. I didn't feel like I could do what I wanted. So it was. I always freedom is like one of the most important things. Even to this day, like I just don't want people to have to tell me what to do.
Mm.
The more money you have, the more successful you are, the less people that could tell you what to do. So that was my biggest drive the whole time.
Okay, is that still your drive today?
No, not anymore because no one can tell me what to do. I do whatever I want. But now it's just living the best life, stress free, relaxed, happy. Only doing stuff that you enjoy doing. Like I don't do anything I don't enjoy doing ever. It's been forever since I've done something I don't enjoy doing. You just got to live life happily and do whatever you want. Obviously, seeing other people around you happy is really cool. Helping other people around you is cool. A lot of times I have people come to me, oh, I mean, I just did this really big deal. You helped me change my life. Like I made all this money. I did better in my relationship, whatever it is. Because I help people with all kinds of stuff, not just making money, but even in just a regular life, with relationships, everything else. Yeah, it's cool seeing that. And so that's what it is. It's just enjoying life and not doing anything you don't want to do.
Yeah, I love that. I love that concept. Let's say you're about to go ahead because I mean, you're making deals every single day.
Mhm.
When I was there, I got to spend 2 days with you, and as we were there, you took us and showed us what you was doing, which was amazing. All of the businesses that you own and the houses that you own, and right now you said you're buying like what 15 houses a month,
Yeah.
and are you flipping those or are you?
Yeah, mostly. I'm pretty much flipping them all. So when the market was really good the last few years, I was buying about 30 homes a month. And over since last August, I probably dropped down to about 15 a month. But yeah, I would say 97% I'm flipping. The only ones that I'm keeping are some of the ones I'm buying creatively that make sense to keep because they're cash flowing. But most of the stuff I buy is cash, and the prices don't make sense to keep them. The return is not good, so I'm just flipping them.
With the business, though, you're buying and keeping. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, my businesses I buy to keep. I don't buy to sell. I would sell any business I have, but that's not my intention. Like I buy them because they cash flow good.
That's beautiful. There is something I noticed about you. I'm pretty sure you know this. Is that you're a person that loves to give back.
Mm-hmm.
And from when I was there, from my observation of being around you, it's like you're willing to help almost everyone. Where do you think that comes from for you?
Well, I just feel like the people that I respect and like the most are people that help me. So like I don't see a downside of helping people. Like it doesn't really cost you anything. And what's crazy is what I've noticed, the more, once I really started helping people a lot over the last, couple decades, the more I help people, the more I get help myself. Whether it's from those people or from other people or, there's something about, the world that like what goes around comes around. So make sure it's a positive stuff. But again, it doesn't cost you anything. It's enjoyable to some degree. You don't want to do it like 100% of your time, but like it's cool to do it a certain percent of your time. And like I don't know if you've ever coached anybody on anything or ever helped anybody on anything or taught somebody something. When you see them be able to do it, like how do you feel? It's kind of cool. So I think some of it is selfish because I like seeing other people that I teach be able to do good, and it makes you feel better about yourself too.
Okay. So, I mean, well, let me ask you this question. How many entrepreneurs have you spawned?
Tons. Like I know just when I was in my 20s, I helped make a few people like multimillionaires, but like in my 30s and 40s, dozens and dozens of people I know that are now like multimillionaires that just by hanging around me or doing deals with me, they were able to do their own stuff. So it's a lot, but it's not even like a whole lot of people are like multimillionaires or millionaires that a lot of these people like enjoy life a lot more. Like they're just happy all the time. Like some of these people weren't happy all the time before, but now they just look at life differently and they have a different mindset and they just enjoy life and they're happy, better lives.
Beautiful. Let's say you're about to go ahead and do a deal because I was just speaking to Jared yesterday, and he said he's in a mastermind with you. You guys are always talking about deals and things like that. If you were going to go into a deal right now, what do you look at as far as risk assessment? What do you specifically look at?
Well, it's different for real estate or business. Is this for business or real estate or what is this?
Well, I mean, right now I'm into buying businesses, so let's go with business.
Okay, so business. So how do I look at it? So basically, I look at the track record of how it's done for the last 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, whatever. I look to see if the industry is trending up, down. I look to see if there's new competitors. I look to see how much is cash flowing. I look to see how motivated the seller is, what type of terms they're going to give me. If they just give you crazy good terms, then it's not really risky. But if they give you terms that are not necessarily the best terms, but it's still a good deal, now you've got to dig in and do a little bit more due diligence. So I'm at a point where I'm not trying to buy businesses that are risky, because it's typically the more risk, the little bit more stress you have. And I pretty much live stress free. So like, I don't want to add anything. I don't need to add anything that's going to cause me like any grief. So I pretty much try to look for the no-brainers, the ones that are just easy deals. But you know, depending on the type of business as well, I'll look to see the upside, the downside, what's the worst case scenarios, the best case scenarios, who my partners are, who's running it, and just assess based on how the track record has been, you know, if it makes sense. I look at stuff not only how much money it's going to make, because money is great, but one thing that's more important than how much money it's going to make is how much time it's going to take. I really prefer to make a lot less money, like a lot less. Like I would make 10, 20% of what you know, a normal person would make on something if it doesn't take much of my time. Like I don't want to put much time into stuff, because my time is what I enjoy to do whatever I want with. So I'm like a deal junkie. I just like doing deals. So sometimes I'll do deals that don't make as much as I should, you know, like do a deal that makes that much, but it doesn't take any of my time. So it's fun to do the deal.
Let's talk about that for a moment. You're talking about you love to make deals. What is it about deals that make you want to do deals? Like, what do you think when you're talking about doing a deal?
So it's like, if you've ever like played a game, do you want to win or lose the game?
Yeah, I always want to win.
Have you ever wanted to lose a game?
No.
No, you always want to win the game. So doing deals is like playing a game, right? It's me versus you. I mean, we could both win, but it's basically you want to win as well. So anytime we want to buy something or you want to sell something or whatever, it's now it's a game. Who's going to win the game? And again, almost every single time I play these types of games, I want both people to win. Luckily, this is the game everyone could win. But it's like, as soon as you get a deal the way you want it, you feel like you won. And how good do you feel when you win a game? I don't care what game it is. How do you feel good when you win? So I just love doing deals, because I want to do a deal that actually happens, because when the deal happens, I just won, right? And I just feel good. You know, I feel good about myself. I feel good about the people that I'm doing it with. And yeah, I mean, it's an incredible feeling, just like when you win anything else.
Beautiful. So at this point in your life, would you say, is there an exit strategy that you're looking for, or do you plan to just keep on buying business and flipping houses until?
Yeah, no exit strategy. What I would say is, at some point, if I get tired or bored of doing certain things or don't enjoy it anymore, I would just quit doing that stuff. I have, you know, enough money where I never need to make more money. But even if I need to make more money, I have crazy amounts of passive investments that, like, I literally don't do anything, that bring in crazy amounts of money every single month, whether they're rentals, whether they're businesses, or just, you know, loans I have out. So I mean, it's just, at some point right now I'm enjoying it all. So whenever I quit enjoying it, I just cut it out.
I do have one more question, and this question is basically, I mean, we've talked about deals, we talked about, you know, your exit strategy and so on, and your mindset is, I asked you before when we first started, whether you're an entrepreneur or an investor, and you said you're both. Now, and I do believe that there's a psychology for both. And my question for you on this is, because you embody both.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you feel is the key that made you embody both? Let me just finish this real quick. I apologize for that. But when it comes down to doing deals and looking at deals, sometimes you can overthink those deals. So I believe I'm an entrepreneur versus as an investor, I'm more of an entrepreneur. And you seem to have a balance between the two. I would love to know how.
Yeah, I mean, I just do some of everything. Like, I do some of everything. I own tons of businesses. That makes me an entrepreneur, just because I own so many businesses and I want to keep getting more and I keep buying more. That makes me an entrepreneur. But I'm an investor. Like, I always look for deals that I can make money on. So whether it's real estate deals, whether they're, you know, buying and selling stuff really quick, whether they're loans, whether they're more businesses, I'm always looking to put money into stuff that's going to make me more money. So, you know, just because I'm always putting money into stuff that's making more money, and I'm always looking for more stuff like that, you know, that makes me the investor side. So the entrepreneur side is more the business side. The investor side is just the, like I said, I'm a deal junkie. It's more the deal junkie side and just wanting to make more money on a lot of things, on anything.
So for the entrepreneur and the investor that's looking at, or the ones that are looking to get into that, what advice would you give them? I'll give you a perfect example. I met this guy, and he's a Bitcoin guy, and this is right before Bitcoin started. His name is Joe, and I reached out to Joe. Well, Joe reached out to me and said, "Hey, you know what? You want to buy this thing called Bitcoin?" And I was looking at it, and I was like, "Well, what is it?" And he's like, "Well, it's a digital currency, and what you do is you buy it off me. I'll give you this code." And then I said, "Well, how much it costs?" And he said, at the time it was $600 a pop. And my thing was like, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know the industry. So I was like, I'm gonna give you $600 for one digital code, and no. So I didn't do it. A year later, Bitcoin shot up to 20,000. And I was like, I called him up and asked him for it. And he was like, no, it's at 20,000. And I mean, we joke about that. My thing is, if you're going to give an advice to an entrepreneur or an investor that's beginning, and they come up with deals and they've hit that block, what would be your suggestion for them or your advice to them?
Yeah, so I think you made the right decision back then, not buying it for 600, because you didn't really know what it was. It was just a gamble. Like, you knew nothing about it. So my advice would be the same thing: is do stuff in industries that you have experience in, that you know something about, know people that know something about it. No matter how good of a deal it seems like the person that's selling it to you makes it seem like, if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. Like, do stuff that you are comfortable with, that's proven to you, that you feel good about, and that you have good instincts about. Like, I literally have not done tons of deals because I just didn't feel good about it or didn't know enough about it. A lot of those deals ended up being great deals. A lot of them ended up being like some of the worst deals. But the deals that I really felt comfortable with, that I really understood, almost, most of those deals ended up being good. So, like, yeah, you're gonna have to pass on some good deals to not do some bad deals. But I think if you use your instinct and your experience and knowledge and passion for stuff, those are the things you should go after.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. If you're going to give these people one advice, what would that be? One last advice.
Yeah, I mean, we went through like all the different things, but like, honestly, being a positive person and being happy all the time, smiling throughout the day, joking, helping people, being around the right people, being around the right crowd, being around successful people, like, that's literally going to change your life from being average, a little bit below average, a little bit above average, to like super successful, super successful. So it's just being around the right people and being positive. Like, I don't know many people that aren't like very positive that become ultimate like super successful. It's just people don't want to be around those type of people. You can feel that energy. You can feel it. So literally everybody wants to be around me because I'm always happy. I'm always smiling. I'm always laughing. I'm always joking around. I'm always positive. I'm always helping people. And because of that, a lot of the good opportunities come to me because of that. Some of it, like, I feel like a lot of it's luck. Like, how did I get this or get that? It's luck. But is it luck, or is it because people want to be around me? And because I have because I'm so positive, and people talk. People are like, "Oh, you should hang around Abraham. You should do a deal with Abraham." So, like, people send people my way. Yeah, it's lucky, but it's lucky because ultimately a good person, everybody sees that, so they send other people to me. So that's kind of what I would say. Just be a good person, be happy and positive all the time, and good things will happen.
All right. So basically it's just mindset then, if you look at it.
Oh yeah, mindset is huge. Yeah. I mean, you see all the people that are killing themselves with suicide, like your friend, and people that are miserable and people that are always happy and successful. I guarantee you 90% of the difference is mindset or more.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abraham. Oh, let people know how they can reach you through your social media.
Yeah, so Abraham Gray, Gray. I have a YouTube channel, Abraham Gray. I put videos out all the time. Follow me on Instagram. It's Abraham Gray Official, and Facebook. And of course, yeah, those are the best ways to get a hold of me. Message me, and I answer every message. So if somebody messages me, I answer it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for being with me today. And thank you for your generosity and time.
Of course, yeah. Thanks for having me. We'll talk soon.